count down if I want to count down. That's how, and we're live, and I'm counting down. 5, 4, 3, boom, countdown, and everybody, welcome Gnashing of Teeth. What? 25? G?
25. We're a quarter to 100.
Quarter to 100. We can do it. We can do this easy.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. Got the long weekend. I have Monday off for Juneteenth.
Let me interrupt you here. Since when is that? Since when's that like a holiday?
It's a federal holiday. I think Biden signed it in 2021, I think.
There
Maybe?
you go.
Was it 2020?
There you go. He needed a day off right then for something, and now the whole world gets it. It's awesome.
I'm not complaining. So, but how are you?
Yeah, well, I have to work that. I have to work that day.
Oh,
I work
well.
every day, Monday through Sunday, Christmas. That man, I'm there. That's what I do. I'm doing great.
It doesn't sound like it.
Well, not yeah. I mean, I'm doing. My ankle hurts today. It's been bugging me a little bit. If anyone doesn't know, I broke my ankle, and I have like 13 pieces of metal in my ankle. So let me get my blind here.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
On a better topic.
Go,
on a
yeah.
better topic. My Rights of Lilith book came in.
Ooh, I want to see it.
I sent you a picture, but for the audience,
Look at
it's a hardcover.
Yep.
It's got Rights of Lilith there.
Yeah.
It's about 450 pages. It's by
Ooh.
Asenath Mason.
Yeah. Your boy.
It's
Are you? Well, you have another book of his, don't you?
It's a girl, and I do have another hers. Yeah, I do have a few other books from her.
Yeah, I know the name.
So yeah, it's from Nephilim Press, and they're still available if you're interested in Lilith. It's a pretty good book on. So I'm about a fourth of the way through. So,
and is it good? You like it?
Yeah, it's probably the most material on the singular entity of Lilith that is composed.
Wow. Yeah, I know you like the author a lot. I'd ask her to be a guest, but I called her a guy, so I didn't mean to. So I probably ruined that.
Yeah, I might have.
Hey, you can edit that out, and then I can ask her if she wants to be on the show. It only takes one. It takes one person to be on our show, and then boom, it's going to take off. Everyone will be like, well, so-and-so was on there, so I'll go on there. Anyway.
Did you see EA Coetting is on TikTok now? He's on TikTok.
Is he doing his same thing to become a
living god?
A living god? Is he doing that?
Well, that's his brand, but he's doing I saw something about candle magic. He was doing
cool.
An intro to like candle magic. So he's putting out content on there. So I thought that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, he got in a little trouble there, and then now he's back to. Well, let's get. Do you have a contact for him? I thought you did at one point.
No, I think there is a way to have him as a guest, but you have to go directly through his site and apply or something like that.
Yeah, so, yeah. He's
big time stuff.
Man. He's big time stuff, and so to get him on the show would be big time stuff. Yeah, yeah. He'd be fun to talk to him.
Yeah, I think so too.
What are we talking about today, dude? We're going to talk about alchemy.
Yeah.
Milo and I started talking about potions and elixirs and different things, and then I thought, well, maybe we could talk about alchemy for a show. And I'll tell you what I know,
Mhm.
that, you know, why alchemy is considered part of the cult, maybe because it's magic in a way. To me, it's a little more scientific probably, but you had these wizards and sorcerers and stuff kind of things mixing things together, and they're kind of playing with different metals, and they're trying to make eventually what they want to come up with is the philosopher's stone. And then with the philosopher's stone, excuse me, they can make gold. And that was the original foundation of alchemy, was to be able to change or create metals. Yeah?
Mhm.
Talk to me, your thoughts. What do you know?
Yeah. So it gained popularity in medieval times and then picked up even more popularity in about 1800s. But it's been around for a lot longer than that, I would say. And it is the act of like transformation, like you said, of like basic metals into basically gold or silver. And eventually, kind of the big goal was, as you described, the philosopher's stone, which can not only apparently transform things into gold, but also it was supposed to be like the key to immortality. Like you would ingest it or mix it with some kind of um, fluid, usually wine, and then ingest it, and it would like keep you young and all these things. And it was a very big um, target for occultists, and it's a pretty big subject for episode 25.
Hey, episode 25. Um, I I just know that, like, when it comes to alchemy, if you look it up or you study it or whatever, it was like, especially back in the days where, it would be wizards and sorcerers and stuff doing it, or clergy or something, special people doing it back then. Um, you know, they're they're really doing like it's almost like science, right? But
Yeah, it's like what's the word, chemistry,
yeah,
right?
it's very much chemistry. And they had to know the table of whatever, all the elements. Like they got to know that. They got to know that.
Mental chart.
Yeah, they got to know. I mean, there's a lot of knowledge for these guys back then. Or this is like how it all got discovered, was people being like, I'm gonna take some seawater and I'm gonna do this with it, and I'm gonna put this in it and see what it does. And then when it makes something or it reacts, then it's like it's huge,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's huge for these
Mhm.
guys. So then if you would have walked into me today
Mhm.
and saw me making, Gans water, I'm making an elixir, then, like, if it's BC and you walk in and I'm making Gans water, it could be a whole different understanding of, hey, this guy's like performing magic. This guy's like creating things out of nothing, even though it's just science.
Yeah, I
The,
think
the
it's like
timing, right?
it's a mixture of both science and, I guess you could say, magic. There's no reason that it can't coexist.
Right. I would think today there's a lot of alchemy going on. Like
Yeah.
if there's a company that makes, popper pipes for faucets and stuff like that, there's alchemy going on. At a high level, they're trying to figure out how to make metals and how to move and how to make it cheaper or stronger, or right. And that's
On a,
base that's
on a
basically kind of the foundation of alchemy, kind of.
on a on a fundamental level, but in an occultist viewpoint, it's alchemy in essence is about the perfection of the human and the soul, and it's its own. branch of the occult and its own pursuit. Now, I would say that there's different types of alchemical pursuits. Sorry. Obviously, there's the Philosopher's Stone route. There's the route of transforming metals and transforming the soul in very transformative properties. And funnily enough, I used to think alchemy was herbs and stuff like that, which I shouldn't say that it isn't. I think that it could be that, but
Yeah.
I learned that from Skyrim. Right? You remember Skyrim and alchemy, making
Love
potions and
love Skyrim. Love the
love stuff.
alchemy table. I love the herbs. I love
Yeah,
I love Whiterun. I was a
yeah,
Thane. I was a Thane in Whiterun, by the way. Just so you know.
good for you. And
I know people who couldn't even get out of Helgen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's true. That's true. So I basically used to think that alchemy was just herbs, but obviously it's much more. But I've never necessarily delved into alchemy like you have.
Yep.
So
I think it goes on the alchemy under the alchemy umbrella. So there was a guy. Let me just tell the story real quick. There's a guy at work who was in our wastewater treatment plant, and they say like he's doing some weird stuff back there. He's got some weird things going on. And one day I said, "Man, I have these bugs that are just eating my tree. I have this one tree in my backyard that I loved, and excuse me, and I was like, these bugs are just eating it, and it'd be the middle of summer. It looks like my tree's going through fall because they just eat all the leaves." And I said, how do I do this? Because I'm asking everybody. And this guy was like, you need to come back to the wastewater plant and see what's going on back there. And I go back there and they're making GANS water, gas at an anode state water. So it's all nanotechnology. So basically you take a container and you have to fill it with what would be ocean water. So there's a percentage of salt. It's 13% or it's 7%. I don't remember. I have it written somewhere in my GANS stuff. And I used to weigh salt and I would put it in this water. And it would be equivalent to ocean water. And then I would take 2 metal plates. So here's why you were working with metal. I'd take 2 metal plates. I'd stick it in the water. Now I would use a clothespin to hold them because you have to suspend them in the water. They can't be touching anything. Right. And then I drilled a hole through the top of the toothpicks, and then I held it on top with like a hanger, like a clothes hanger.
Yeah.
And so they're on, like you can do this. Like this isn't like you can do this. I did it. And so then those two, and you just that's all you got to do. Now you can also take an alligator clip and a wire and clip each metal, and you can run it to a battery, and that will like charge up the ions in the metal plates or whatever, and then make more GANs.
Yeah.
So the GANs you're making out of metal plates, it's a gas, so it's like CO2, and there's a couple more. I made them all. I have 6 total GANSes. So I have one here, and it looks like a snow globe. So when you make GANs, it looks like, see the bottom? It's a powder. It looks like a powder. Okay. And now maybe I can show you the powder. Do you see the powder now?
Yeah.
Do you see it moving now?
Yeah.
See? That's GANs. And so the idea would be like a snow globe. You would shake your GANs, and as the GANs falls, you can you can't ever ingest the GANs itself, but the water's been purified by the GANs, and then you can drink the top of the water. You just don't want the GANs Anyway, you can put it on trees, you put it on vegetables, there's all kinds of things you do with Gans water. You can ingest it. There's a lot of cures it does. Anyway, uh, that is made through metal. Now, if you would take your Gans jar and you would just set it there and you would let the water just evaporate, that Gans turns into like a dirt. It's almost like a sand or a dirt. And what you just did is you just created, it's very micro, but you just created mass on the earth. Think about that. You had water, salt, and two metal plates. One is nano covered, and you can create mass on the earth. It might be the size of an anthill, but it's brand new. It's new. You created that through metal.
Yeah.
That has to be what alchemy is. The goal is to make gold, but if you're using metals for scientific experiments like Gans water, it's cool.
Mhm.
And they say it's really good for you to drink Gans water. Like water has memory, and Gans water, like that's the shaking of it. And as it drops, it takes the negative with it. Now you can get on like the Kesh Foundation, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. They got Gans water and like face masks and elbow things to help like pain. It's pretty
Yeah.
new age. It's new age stuff, but it's not. This is alchemy
Yeah.
that was suppressed, and now someone scientific with a lab coat is like, oh, look what we've done with metal, right?
Yeah.
Alchemy
Yeah.
didn't die. It just diverted into a different thing.
Yeah.
Universities picked it up, and like you said, chemists and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But think about it. Back in the day, if someone was making Gans water like that, and they've got all kinds of jars with all kinds of different powders in them, and you're making
Mhm.
different gas at a nanode state, you're into some stuff, and it's cool. Anybody can do it.
So, so you said that you have 6 jars.
Mhm. Yeah,
So do you try to create like the dirt or the sand, or do you just use it for simple, like, do you drink
there's
it or?
yeah. So there's six different. No, I have six Ganses, but there's a red one that's awesome that I could get. There's a CO2 one. Um, there's a there's like a zinc and a there's another one. A very, very simple metal. One of them has to be nanode, and then nano has like a black covering. It's almost like a lighter has to like make it black, and then
Mhm.
it's nanode, and then you put those two in. It's really cool. The different ones recent when COVID hit, all the GANs people started making what they called the cup of life, which for me comes back to the philosopher's stone, almost like an elixir. They call it the cup of life, and scientists are calling it that. And it's three, I think it's three plates, and they actually put it in a to-go cup, and then you create it there. It takes days and days and weeks for the little clouds to and then drop. Anyway, uh, they now just kind of do the cup of life, and you're supposed to just ingest it and whatever. And they created it out of COVID. They stopped everything they were doing, and this company was looking for this alchemist company was looking for a way to like beat COVID, and they supposedly did through this. I mean, I don't know. I have the cup of life. I have it. This this one is my CO2. See, and the CO2 usually makes it kind of blue, but
Yeah.
it's definitely, yeah. And you're not supposed to ingest it, like it'll hurt you.
So like the actual GANs at the bottom you can't adjust, but the
You,
water itself you can.
you're not supposed to. Anyway, all of this is getting created by metal and water.
Mhm.
No, no one's performing any miracle. Nothing's going on, bro. It is literally two pieces of metal and water with salt. And then you can wire it up to battery if you want or not, whatever. But it's
So
crazy what it does. Yeah.
so have you so the one that you said that turns into actual material, like the dirt and the sand that you described, have you done that?
I did it in a test
Like where
tube.
you let
Yep. So I mixed up my Gans water
Mhm.
and I grabbed a puller, like a syringe or like a, and then I put it in a test tube and I just set it there. And it sat there forever. It'd take a couple days and it would drop, the water level would drop and it would drop and drop. And then I had this little muddy Gans that I just watched for a while. And then as soon as so oddly enough, it's gas in a nanode state in water. And then when the water evaporates, the gas goes with it. And now you just have like nanode metal, dirt. It could be really fine pieces of metal. It looks like dirt. And once it reaches that, you can't turn it back into gas in an anode state. Is that weird? It's weird.
That is weird.
So the other thing about it is you can keep it forever. So my snow globe of GANs, I can mix the water, let the GANs drop, and then I can use all this water. Then I put water back in and I mix it, and my GANs, it never goes away. Unless I pour it out to drink, and unless I overflow it and I pour it
Right.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of chemistry type stuff, but I think, and just as a quick point, I think where the occult relates to it is the achievement for, as described, the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life and immortality, and that's kind of how magic and occult blends in with chemistry to create alchemy in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, all I know is that I'm creating something out of nothing using metal, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so you can also take Gans water and spin it. And like I don't know how far, I mean, everyone has to do their own research here, but they actually think with Gans water you can fly. If you spin Gans water, you have to look it up. If you spin Gans water at a certain, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, 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 wait.
It can levitate. It can, yeah, it's powerful stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
But
no, I know what I'm saying. I know we're on the podcast. You're looking at me like I've lost, like Dad, you just ruined the podcast. No, no, it heals all kinds of stuff. They think it can fly, it can levitate stuff. Like I don't know how.
so when you say fly, okay, okay, so that makes sense. That if you don't know how, but like, so you're saying that if you put this spinning Gans water
Yeah,
beneath something, it'll fly?
yeah. When you spin Gans water, you're creating an energy thing. And if you have, if you look it up, there's people that have like a bar stool and there's little baby jars fastened and glued all over it. And they fill it with Gans water and or little balls with spinners. And they're trying to like move it. And yeah,
So if you're so you're
I'm not
saying that
saying
if
they've
I got
accomplishment. I'm saying they're trying to use it for that because they think it can do it. No one's flying with
so
Gans water. They're trying to.
okay, that makes
Okay.
sense
I'm
because
sorry.
if
Yeah. No one's like
no because
flying
if that
around on Gans water. Yeah. No, I know. I'm not. That's, yeah. They're,
no
they're,
if that
they're
was the case, I would have I would have went and grabbed a classic broomstick
right.
and
No,
put Gans water all beneath.
Yeah.
But
When you
flying around.
when you leaned really close to the camera and you went like this, I was like, oh, I said something wrong. Yeah, I just didn't clarify. No, there's people who work with GANS water who actually think like you can make reactors and it could become like gas or it could be, but you have to, I mean, you have to add and take away and do a bunch of chemistry to it. But they
Yeah.
think the foundation of GANS water is, whatever. It's alchemy. You're you're
Yeah.
you're creating stuff with metals.
Yeah.
I think that obviously the goal was gold and silver, but
Mhm.
it goes back to it's an occult thing because the people trying to do this back in the day, uh, you know, didn't know what they're doing. And when people come in and go, "Oh my God, that you just created that," like, and they're like, "Yeah, oh, it's
Um,
magic." Yeah, kind of.
so do you think that like because there's no doubt remorse on alchemy and things like that, do you think that somebody has been able to achieve iron to gold?
Yes.
Do you think that do
Yeah.
you think so?
Oh
Think
yeah.
some
Oh yeah. Yeah. Man, the more you and I go through this stuff and we read the books and we watch the shows and we get invited to these different things and all these different stuff we look at. Absolutely. Somebody out there created the Philosopher's Stone. It transformed them probably healthy wise, and then they used it to create, you know, gold and silver and like yeah, absolutely. Maybe it created like pretty diamonds and jewels and someone was like, "Oh, it's gold and silver," but it's still you know,
right.
the same
So
idea.
do
They
you
made they got riches out of it, right?
yeah, I could see that.
Could be a time where like gold and silver meant rich. Oh, he's got gold and silver, but could have a bunch of horses.
Well
I don't know.
even in this day and age, having a lot of gold and silver probably isn't the worst thing. Um the ultimate goal I heard, not only with the Philosopher's Stone is that, but like immortality. Do you think that somebody achieved immortality through alchemy? Or do you think it's more of a transformative like thing that relates to like the soul or being like healthy when you're older? You're still gonna die, but you're a lot better moving or something like that. If that makes sense.
I don't know if someone I don't know.
Like immortal as like a vampire, right? Like somebody that's just
Well,
working every single.
or what if you live into like 1,000 years old, like the guys that were in the biblical times? What the Anunnaki, Enki, when he was in Egypt, they called him. uh oh, come on, don't you screw this up. It'll come to me. And he ruled for like 10,000 years.
Yeah,
Ptah, Ptah was his Egyptian name, Enki, when he ruled Egypt. Ptah was his earthly name. 10,000 years. Well, does Gans water and alchemy and the Philosopher's Stone and all these things, do they,
well,
maybe it's not, maybe you're not immortal, but maybe you're like really prolonging your death. I don't know.
yeah, I could, yeah, potentially, potentially. But do you think Inky had the Philosopher's Stone? Pateau had the
Ptah,
Philosopher's
Ptah,
Stone to
Ptah.
beat
Uh,
Pateau. Pateau.
maybe. I mean, if they're flying around the universe, why wouldn't they have that? I don't know.
I yeah, I guess
I don't know.
that's true.
It could be orange juice. We don't know. I mean, we don't, that's why we're talking about it.
That's true. That's true. And
Could be,
that's the beauty of the whole.
could be beer.
That
Maybe they're just.
yeah, I think that time was heavily misconstrued in a biblical sense and in a historical sense. I don't think Ptah ruled for 10,000 years. I think that it was probably a lot shorter, just as biblical characters that we have in the Bible that lived for, 100. or 500 years. It was probably more of like 80 years, but they didn't have a sense of a justified time. Just as like the 7 days that God created the earth, it was probably thousands of years in between those. If the story was true, of course. But do you really think that Ptah ruled for 10,000 years?
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
all
I
right.
think he landed and everybody was like, "Oh my God." And he landed again. And they're like, "Oh my God." And he did that for 10,000 years. Yeah, he did.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Ten
Yeah.
thousand years is a lot of time, though.
Well, we don't know if he's flesh and blood or if he's a whatever he is. I mean, no one knows that. It's probably Asmodeus just doing all this work, and everyone's just calling him different names. He's trying to figure all this out.
Essentially.
Well, I'll tell you this: our timer went off, so we need to start cutting it down. I will summarize first. I'll say this: I think alchemy is a big deal, and I think the occultists had it right. And I think there's good books out there where really alchemy is important. Um, as far as like making things, to me, it's like a science that we kind of lost. And it was found through the magicians, right? And then science took it on, and now it's just under a different umbrella. Now
Mm-hmm.
alchemy is just like you said, it's under chemistry and it's under, different people. It's just a scientific name now where people are still working with metals, guaranteed. And
Yeah.
so and so I believe that, and I don't think it's ever went away. And they're probably doing fascinating things now with alchemy. But I'm a fan of it and I get it. And I see how it's, forbidden or it's an occultist thing. But let me have you summarize and you tell me how you think the show went and we'll go from
Yeah, it
there.
was good. I definitely think that it was a good topic for episode 25. Um, I think of alchemy in like in an older sense, it's about transforming stuff like iron into gold and things like that. And obviously the Philosopher's Stone, immortality in a sense. A lot of um books that I read and occult related things that I read um kind of refers alchemy in a transformative sense of the soul and the human psyche, I guess you could say. So sexual alchemy, for instance, is something that I've read a lot in grimoires, and it's about transforming the soul through, I guess, in the bluntest way possible, is sexual alchemy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I look at it as a transforming of the soul and kind of ascending in that sense, and that could quote unquote lead to immortality, I guess you
hmm
could say.
Yeah, for sure.
But but obviously I haven't done anything like Gans water or anything that you've done. But yeah, there's a lot of different aspects to alchemy, so it's a good topic.
Well, when I started doing it, I didn't think it was alchemy. And then later on, I was like, wow, I am creating things out of metal. Anyway, I never
Yeah,
made
it's free.
gold. I never
It's
made
free
gold.
bands.
Free bands king. That's what it is. Good for you. Hey, good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, good episode. And hit us up in the email, hit us up in the comments, and help us out. All right. All right, G. It was good to see you. Good episode 25.